Yeah, hang on a moment.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Discipline to Gen show. I am your host, Matty Betts. I'm here with the biggest Gen I know, GIno from BetOpenly.com, and it is NFL Week 5. The season is moving quickly. If you are watching right now live with us, we appreciate you tuning in. We are live every single week. We are going back to 6 p.m. Eastern now, so from this episode moving forward instead of 6:30 Eastern. If you're watching after our live and on YouTube later in the week, please make sure you like and subscribe. That way you will get notified when the episodes are up. And a quick reminder on the YouTube video, chapters are at the bottom of the video. I know, again, you degens have no attention span, so you can scroll to the game that you want to watch, and you can scroll to our recap and picks at the end of the video as well. And last but definitely not least, if you're still not on betopenly.com, go to the link in the description, make an account today. It is completely free to make an account, and you are going to save a lot of money over the long run doing so. Let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap of NFL Week 4. It was a wild one. Bills routed the Dolphins 48-20, now tied for first in the AFC East. Detroit took control of the NFC North with a 14-point win over the Green Bay Packers on Thursday Night Football. The Ravens routed Cleveland on the road and took control of the AFC North. Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes barely squeak out a win against the Jets. A lot of controversy on that last play of the game. We'll talk about that here shortly. Christian McCaffrey, Gino's boy, on pace for, ready for this? 1,850 rushing yards, 550 receiving yards, and 28 total touchdowns. That's what he's on pace for right now. We're going to discuss if he's a serious MVP candidate or not. And last but not least, and you can't make this up, my Eagles and your 49ers, the two only undefeated teams left in the NFL at 4-0. It's crazy to even think that. How does this always happen? Like with us starting this show last year, we end up meeting in the championship, in the NFC Championship. Then this year, now we're both the only two 4-0 teams. I'm rocking the red today. I'm supporting the 49ers. My 3-unit play last week cashed 49ers minus 7.5 in the first half.
It was a great play.
It should have been a 30-unit mega whale, but we responsibly, as Discipline the Gens, took it for 3 units. I love that play. Cowboys in the first half was a good play too. So hell of a week. I started off super hot. Then I lost Sunday night and Monday Night Football. It's the worst feeling when you have a good run, but then it just dies off. It's the same thing like my USC cards, right? I'm winning throughout the whole card, and then the last 2 fights I lose. You still feel like you didn't win. And that's how I felt with NFL Week 5. I went up on the week, had a huge run, and then I lose Sunday night and Monday night.
For you degens out there, it's oddly a better feeling when you go down huge and then you save it with Sunday and Monday. Even though you're at even. You go all in just to break even, but that's just degeneracy.
100%.
Dude, I'm going to compliment your boys real quick.
Go ahead.
You're winning scrappy games.
Yeah.
I hate to see that because we're playing like a well-oiled machine. I'm not here to just tout the Niners the whole time. We're playing as good a ball as we're going to play. You don't want to do that too early, and you don't want to.
I agree. I said it.
You guys are scrapping by, and you're going to get better and better. I was warning people that I needed the Eagles to fall early with a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. I hate it.
Yeah, I said it last week. I was like, I don't want the Eagles to be playing perfect football early in the season. That's what we did last year. We started off 8-0, and then we lost it to the Commanders. And then, it still ended up well for us. We made it to the Super Bowl, but I'd rather us be playing our best football at the end of the season. So up first, I got some topics to ask you here. Just yes or no questions or one or the other here. Who makes it further in the postseason, the Bills or Dolphins?
I got to say Bills just based on our future bets.
I like it.
You got to say Dolphins, right?
I'm going to go Dolphins. I know what we saw this past week is concerning, but it's early in the season. Like I said, I'd rather the teams I have play well late in the season. Next up, are the Detroit Lions a real deal?
Yeah, I pulled up this piece of data that I was sharing a lot on Twitter yesterday. So top 10 DVOA offense and defense means you need to have top 10 in both. Only 4 teams can claim that. Niners are number 2 in offense, number 7 in defense. Bills, number 3 in offense, 2 in defense. Lions, number 5 in offense, 5 in defense.
Yeah.
Eagles, number 9 in offense, 10 in defense. So
those are 4 good teams.
3 of the 4 are NFC, and I have all 4 of them in my top, 6 in power rankings.
I like it. How do you feel about the Ravens? Are they a playoff contender based on what you've seen?
Man. Oh, God. I don't really know what happened in Cleveland, to be honest. I take more away from that game.
Honestly, Deshaun Watson not playing changed the whole game. The early interception.
Which is crazy because I actually been hating on him. That he wasn't doing much, but he clearly was doing something, right?
Yeah. It's just the drop-off is so big from him to the backup. So what about the Giants?
Yeah.
Are the New York Giants, is their season over? They're now 1-2, and they have a really bad stretch coming up. I'm going to read it to you. What are your thoughts?
They're playing the Dolphins this week.
Yeah, they're playing, and that's at Miami. That's an 11-point spread. We'll get into that game here. But even after Miami, they go to Buffalo. They play the Commanders and Jets at home. They got Commanders on the road, Cowboys on the road.
Done.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue if they lose this game this week. You're going to make the argument that they're already done this season. They're going to pack it in. We'll talk a little bit later on the show. It's maybe a buy low spot, though, as a double-digit dog on the road at Miami. And then last but not least, are the 49ers the best team in football as of today?
Without a doubt, as of today. No one can argue that. Technically, on paper, the only team that you could argue is the Bills.
Yeah, and they have a loss, but they
have a loss.
I totally agree. I do think they're the top 2 teams in football as of today. Even with the Eagles 4-0, I would put my Eagles third after Buffalo right now, just based off what I've seen. But 100%, it's definitely a long season. So, last question I have for you. We're going to stay on the 49ers here. Christian McCaffrey plus 2,500 right now. All of you watching right now, that's on FanDuel. 25-1 to win MVP. I think it was over 100-1 preseason. I don't think an MVP has. I think it might have been 200-1. I don't think a running back has won since maybe Adrian Peterson. Someone in the chat maybe can correct me, but it's been a long time now. Right now, C-Mac 25-1. Josh Allen is the favorite, so he's really come on. If you locked him in after week 1, you probably made out really well on that. After they lost to the Jets in week 1, I think it was week 1, right? Yeah. Then you have Tua at 5-1, Patrick Mahomes 5-1, Jalen Hurts at 8-1. I'm honestly surprised Jalen is 8-1. I thought he'd be double digits there. It's like the market just leaves him low for some reason. He hasn't even played that well. But what do you like here? Would you take a stab at C-Mac, or is he just going to run away with Offensive Player of the Year and they're not going to give him the MVP?
I got a quick story. My homie Johnny out in Vegas, you owe me 130 racks. I hate you. I texted him like 2 weeks before the show. Manny and I were talking about this. And I was like, hey, the MVP award's kind of a quarterback award. That hurts me to say it. I do think if anyone's going to break it, I said if CMC averages a touchdown and a half a game, which he's on pace for right now, and I said he would need 1,000 yards. I said 1,500 rushing and 1,000 receiving or something like that. 65-1 for Offensive Player of the Year. And that's probably down to like 5-1 now, which sucks. Because Johnny, I texted him, I told him, he said he'd put the bet in. Then he told me like 3 days before, I'm out of town, I can't do it. I didn't care. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I just wouldn't bet it now, right? Like it's like you don't bet someone after their best week. The value's gone. Like if you look at what you just showed me, like you would probably want to pick up Tua right now going into Buffalo and losing versus like 2 weeks ago he was favored. You want to buy low.
He's
so
still 5-1 though. Is that crazy? The only thing I'll say here, the pushback, it's still 25-1.
No, it's nasty.
It's the only reason it's that high is just because of his position. But I think he's clearly been the best player in the league this year so far.
No question. And honestly, I don't hate it. It's 25-1 still. Like put something you're not afraid to lose on it. $100 to win 2,500.
Yep.
I just love that. It hurts me so bad that I couldn't be talking right now and showing you a ticket for $2,000 to win 130 and my idiot friend Johnny.
I feel that. So we got a question for you, GIno. Why are you so hard on my Ravens?
You're just inconsistent defense. Your defense looked great, and then they don't, and then they do, and then they don't. So nothing but respect, Zach. I'm still mad that your boys beat me in the Super Bowl, in the Harbor Bowl. That's why.
There's the real truth.
The truth came out.
I have a big time pick in that Ravens-Steelers game. We'll get into that here in a little bit, but let's dive into Thursday Night Football, where Chicago travels to Washington. The Bears are a 6.5-point dog on the road here. You can get them at plus 267 on betopenly.com with the over-under sitting at 44.5. It's only Tuesday, but 50-50 on tickets right now. The public is pretty divided. Eddie Jackson is questionable for the Bears. Curtis Samuel is questionable for the Commanders. Some quick trends. Justin Fields has thrown a pick in 5 straight games against bottom 10 scoring defenses. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Bears have lost their last 13 games coming off of a loss. The under is hit in 19 of the Commanders' last 27 games coming off of a loss. Now, what are your thoughts on this game? Because Justin Fields, even though he threw that pick 6 late in the game and kind of blew it, he did throw for 335 yards and 4 touchdowns. That is a huge game for as bad as he's been. What do you like in this game?
So someone told me this, and I don't check a lot of this stuff, but it's usually pretty close. Someone told me that Fields does not have a win when the opponent scores 21.
I believe that.
As in all his wins are defensive wins for his team,
Yeah.
which is crazy. The good news is this Commies team lets people put up points.
Yeah.
Like no one's business. Look what Denver did to him. Philly came back. So my feeling on this game is I'm all over Chicago here. And if I'm betting this, I'm betting it money line. I know it sounds crazy, but Chicago now has had, I think, 2 chances to win games and blown them both. They're competing. Fields' confidence is high. Washington's defense is not impressive.
Yeah.
So my feeling is an ugly under here because both these teams went over last week. So that sounds stupid. And that is how Chicago wins this game. That's how Fields wins games. So
Yeah.
those are my 2 plays, guys. I'm keeping it really straightforward.
Yeah, I'm with you on the side here, but I can't trust this team to win outright. So I am going to take the 6.5 points. I think the Commanders are super overrated, even though they're not rated that highly. I just think they're overrated. They gave up 33 points to the Broncos. They barely snuck by the Cardinals at home in week 1. They got blown out by 34 points to the Bills. And the only reason the public's even divided on this game in the first place is because they lost by a field goal to the Eagles this week. But you have to throw away those division outlier games where, if I'm being honest, as an Eagles fan, the Commanders always have our number at least one of the 2 games of every year. So I throw that game out, and I look at their other 3 games. Blown out by Buffalo, barely beat Denver, gave up 33 points, barely beat Arizona. And now I'm looking at this game as like, hey, Justin Fields has confidence. He's going to come into Washington and make a few plays, and 6.5 points is a lot of points in a game with 2 shitty teams is the way I look at this. So, again, I'm going to pass on the money line in this one, even though I do love my dog money lines, and I'm going to just trust that the Bears cover the spread here. Commanders, I looked at this earlier today. In the Commanders' last 6 home games this year and last year, 1-4-1 against the spread. They're not good covering at home. I like the 6.5 points. I'm going to close my eyes, take the points here. I do lean the under with you as well.
I love this under. It's the only way to bet this game because it makes no sense. And what I'll say is I like Bears first half money line. I worded that a little incorrectly, guys, so just be careful. My official money is going to be on the Bears first half money line.
I can see that.
For some reason, they come out and compete, and for some reason, they keep folding. Speaking of which, just so we can move on from last week, but Matty, why did the Commies not go for 2 when they tied it? What?
Is it just me, or is like coaching decision making this year is at an all time piss poor?
There are certain things that I know I'm not as good as a coach on, and I know we like talking trash on Twitter.
Yeah,
but there are a couple aspects like that Raiders field goal and like the Commies going for 3. You know that if the bettor on money line doesn't want you doing it, it's the right play.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, there is no reason that Riverboat Ron shouldn't have been going for 2 there.
You have all the momentum. Like,
you're on the road.
Here's the way I look at things. If I bet on a team and the coach does, the opposite coach does exactly what I want them to do, then it's a bad decision.
That's what I'm saying.
The week before, what game was it? The Raiders kicked a field goal. I'm sitting there with the opposite team's money line, right? And I'm like ecstatic that the coach would kick a field goal down 8 with a couple minutes left. Same scenario here. I'm an Eagles fan. I have my team on the money line. I took the Commanders on the spread. So I was about to win both, and I did win both. But I'm sitting there and I'm shaking. I'm like, the Commanders, of all the momentum, they just scored. Please do not go for 2. Kick the PAT.
Don't go for 2.
And they fucking kick the PAT. Like, why
insane.
not go for 2? It doesn't make sense to me. Again, you know, coaches, they have it tough, right? You make the right decision. Sometimes it doesn't work out well, but like, again, sometimes you have to look at data and analytics. Sometimes you have to look at momentum.
Yeah, agreed.
Is the way I look at things, and I think they should have. You know, I really do think they should have went for 2 there. I'm glad they did it. That's for sure.
Of course. And the last thing I'll say about this, because the NFL, just so you guys all know, they watch our show. The NFL is a huge fan of Matty and I. The NFL, get rid of the coin toss. If the home team can't beat someone in regulation, you give the away team the ball. That's it. The away team starts overtime with the ball. The home team has 60 minutes to beat them. You give the away team the ball. That's how it starts.
Interesting. All right. Let's move on to Sunday morning. Another London game for the Jags. They've now been chilling in London for the second week. I think Trevor Lawrence is probably touring half the city. But this is an interesting game, right? When I first looked at this number, I was like, what the? Then I forgot it was in London, right? Because if this game's in Buffalo, obviously it's over the touchdown here, but it's at 5.5. Just a weird number to me. 5.5 point spread. The Jags are plus 222 on the money line on Bet Openly. The total is 48.5. I think that might have gone up a point. 14% of the tickets on the Jags here. 86% of the tickets on Buffalo. Zay Jones is questionable for the Jags. Jordan Poyer and Tre'Davious White are hurt. Poyer is questionable and might play. Tre'Davious White is definitely out in this game. Those are 2 really big injuries defensively when you're facing Trevor Lawrence here in London. Trevor Lawrence has failed to exceed 250 passing yards or 1.5 touchdown passes in 9 of his last 12 games against top 10 defenses. So that's something to look at here. The Bills are first in the NFL in forcing turnovers, sacks, and QB hits, right? So that's another thing to look at against a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who is super talented, but he can turn the ball over. Does this 5.5 point spread feel small to you, though? What do you think?
Sketch. So a couple weeks ago, guys, I sold Green Bay's defense when they were really high to Detroit, or last week. I'm doing the same for Buffalo's defense here. I'm selling that defense a little. They're ranked, again, 2V and DVOA number 2. They're good, but they're just not that good in my book. I'm Jacksonville all the way here at plus 5.5. They've been hanging out there for a week. I would actually call this a Jags home game just by that standard that they've been there.
The tricky thing is I saw that there's supposed to be more Buffalo fans at this game than Jacksonville.
I bet that.
But then Jacksonville also has the home field advantage in the sense that they've been there.
Correct.
They just played there last week. So this is a tough game. I agree with you. I think you have to take the points here, but you could look really stupid doing it. Like, you wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo just blows this team out. But yeah, the 5.5 points seems sketchy to me, and I would just take it. I don't know that I'll have an official play on this game. Maybe I'll just sleep in Sunday morning and forget this game ever happened. But 5.5, it feels like one of those lines you just have to take it here. And maybe this is a field goal game.
I just see a close game here, and I see, Jackson camping in England, and Buffalo's coming off a massive win.
Yeah,
so
100%.
That's where I'm selling Buffalo a little high here, and their defense especially.
And honestly, the one thing I'll say about Jacksonville is they've actually been solid this season. The bizarre Texans game, outlier division game, they got beat down, right? But they only lost to Kansas City by 8. They beat the Falcons by 16, and they beat the Colts in Indianapolis by 10. So and that game last week against Atlanta in London was very impressive. So again, I think that's just more compelling reasons why you would look at the point spread there.
The Gens are going to wake up, they're going to hammer the favorite, and they're going to be chasing all day.
All right, moving on. A double-digit point spread here. Oh. The Giants travel to Miami. I think this number is all the way up past 11 now. Look at that juicy money line on Bet Openly, plus 510. Oh. I usually have a rule on Bet Openly that when you get an NFL team at 5-1, you just take it. But this is definitely a scary one to do that with. The total is 49.5 in this game. 5% of the tickets, no surprise, 5% of the tickets here so far on a Tuesday are on the New York Giants, with 95% of the public absolutely hammering this Miami Dolphins team. Now, what's interesting here is Saquon Barkley might be back, right?
Ooh.
And this is an extreme buy low spot on the New York Giants. And don't get me wrong, it is ugly, and you probably don't want to do it, and I don't blame you if you don't take it, but it's something to look at. Now, the Giants are 10-25 on the road, coming off a loss in the last 35 games. However, 28-15 against the spread on the road, coming off of a loss. And there was not a worse loss you're going to see than last game. It was pretty hideous on prime time.
God.
And the under is hit in 17 of the Giants' last 26 games. What are you leaning on in this hideous matchup?
The world expects Miami bounce back, and the world cannot think any lower of the New York Giants. Just remember, these are pro athletes out there. This is a no bet for me. I don't even want to watch this game. I sure as hell don't want to lose money watching it. If you make me bet this game, I'm taking the Giants plus 11.5. I'm taking that now. I think that'll go down a little bit, and I'm checking the score at half and the end of the game. I'm not hitting refresh on my apps. I'm just checking it once at half and at the end of the game. And some slimy backdoor cover for the Giants to lose by 10.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about this game. I actually think the best bet is the under. You typically see historically the under is profitable in these double-digit point spread games. That's usually where the most value lies. And honestly, the Giants have fought on defense. Even if you look at the primetime beatdown this past week, they fought on defense the whole game. It was really the pick six of that they got on Daniel Jones. And yeah, let me go to this Giants team, but they really have not been bad defensively
that changed
here.
Everything.
Let's see here. Now, obviously the Cowboys, they got routed 40-0. But they played really good offenses, right? They played 49ers. The Cardinals, not the greatest offense, but
I know.
Maybe I'm a little recency bias there, where I just thought they looked good defensively against Seattle. They held them to 17 points offensively. The 24th point was just due to the pick six.
They got Miami this week and Bills next week.
Yeah, no, this is their season right here. If you don't think it was their season already this past week, it definitely is their season here. This is a game where I would probably take the under. The one thing that does scare me is Miami's not really a team that gets up early and just coasts. So that is one thing that would scare me. I would lean the under, but I don't know that I'll have an official pick on this game. Let's move on from this one.
Let's do it.
All right, another tricky one. New Orleans traveling to New England. The Saints are, as of right now, an underdog, plus 1.5. We'll see if that number flips at all, if that stays where it's at. The money line, plus 111 on Bet Openly. The over-under 40.5. 62% of the tickets on the Saints here, 38% on the Pats. The Patriots, 44-23, straight up coming off a loss. Don't know how much stock you put into that without Tom Brady. The Saints are 16-8 against the spread on the road, coming off a loss. And the under is hit in 31 of the Patriots' last 45 games, coming off a loss. Now, this is Alvin Kamara's second game back. He did have 84 total yards from scrimmage against the Bucs last game. The Saints looked really bad against the Bucs. They lost 26-9. Patriots looked even worse, lost 38-3 in a blowout loss to the Cowboys. Shout out to the Dallas Cowgirls for covering in the first half. For me, they looked really good in that game. What do you like here?
I got the Saints as my dog of the week.
You love the Saints. You always love the Saints.
But I wasn't on them last week. I was on Tampa Bay last week. I got Saints here, and I'll tell you why. The New England Patriots are the lowest offense in countless metrics. I don't know. They've faced some tough teams to start, so let's throw them a bone there.
Yeah.
But they have a brutal opening 5 weeks for this offense, and I don't see anything clicking for them. This Saints defense will not be any nicer to them as these past teams. And to me, the Saints offensively have looked better than the Patriots at times. So this spread screams New England Saints money line. I'll take the 111, keep the 1.5. Don't care. And I love this under. It just seems too obvious to me. This under should be like 36 or 37. When I'm counting something wrong, I stay away. I'm like, these books know something better than me. And I wouldn't want to really bet this under after how bad offensively both the Saints and Patriots did.
Mm-hmm.
So it's too obvious and it's a stay away from me.
Yeah, look, if you look at the two rosters side by side, the Saints have pretty much more talent everywhere. Like, they have like 3 quarterbacks that you could arguably say are better than Mac Jones. Like, if you count Taysom Hill as a quarterback,
Patriots have no wide receivers.
They have a lot of weapons. I think the Saints are honestly better everywhere. And I will say The Patriots are 1-3, and I think they're 0-2 at home, right? They're 0-2 at home this year. This is their third home game. It's like, are they finally going to pull one out of the hat here and get a win at home? I could see that happening, but I think my head tells me to lean New Orleans here, just take the plus money in this spot. Again, I don't know that number will stay 1.5. Do you think it'll move?
I gotta see more money coming in on the Saints. Like, again, I'm just trying to weigh people's mental state. They're gonna say, okay, Dallas is a top 3 team. That's why Patriots lost them. But the Saints got smoked at home by a worse Tampa Bay than Dallas.
Yeah.
So I think you're getting the Saints here a little cheap, in my opinion. I think the Saints should be favored in this game. So I do believe this kicks off at Pick'em.
All right, I like it. Let's move on. It looks like we're both leaning towards the Saints there. Texans, Falcons. This is an interesting one. Ooh. Texans plus 1.5 right now as the underdog on the road, plus 115 on the money line. The total is 41.5. The Falcons 7-12-1 against the spread at home, coming off a loss. The under is hitting the Falcons' last five straight games, coming off a loss as well. Now the Falcons are 2-2, but they've won both home games, and they've lost their other 2 games. I think one on the road, one neutral site in London. They're returning from that London beatdown, right? 23-7 loss to the Jags. What do you think about this game? Is this maybe a bounce back spot for them at home, where they've been pretty good so far this season?
They have been good at home. This is a buy low here on Atlanta. It's a sell high on Houston. Houston had a great game last week. Let's not deny that. Yeah, there are some great systems pointing at Atlanta to bounce back strong here. I would say they have a pretty good home field advantage, and they play well in the Mercedes Dome. So yeah, I gotta buy Atlanta low here and sell Houston high. If you told me week 1 that I'd be able to get Atlanta minus 1.5 versus Houston, I would be all over it.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because Houston's, I mean, even at 2-2, they've kind of been one of the surprises.
Yeah, they're battling.
Outside of that bad loss at Baltimore week 1, they fought against the Colts. They routed the Jags by 20, and then they routed the Steelers by 24. So they've really been the surprise of the season so far. This is a tough game to me. I like the under more than anything. I lean Texans, but again, I don't really want to buy into them right now at this spot.
They got a good defense.
But I do lean the under. Both these teams defensively against scoring 10th and 11th in the league, so pretty solid. The Falcons are 25th in the league in scoring and 32nd in passing, right? So they can't really air the ball out here. They can't. I just think this game points to the under. I like it at 41.5 too. It's not 40.5, 39.5. Even a 24-17 game, you get that done with the under there. So I do lean the under here. I might make that an official play. We'll see throughout the week, but I don't really love a side here.
Fair enough.
Up next. Oh, I love this game. I know I'm sick to like this game.
You're sick for liking this game.
I have a nice play here. Let me find it. All right. Carolina Panthers travel to Detroit. 8.5-point spread. Over under 45. 11% of the tickets are on this Panthers team. 89% of the tickets on the Lions. Now, the Lions 3-13 straight up at home, coming off a win in their last 16 games. 11-3 against the spread, coming off a win. But you got to realize most of those games is in an underdog scenario when the Lions have been bad, right? Lions are 20th in the NFL in turnovers, and this is a massive, massive spread, right? So what do you think in this spot here? Is this gotten to the point where the Lions are getting way too much respect? 8.5 points at home as a spread.
I will say they're one of only 4 teams top 10 in both offense and defense.
Yeah.
Their defense looks really good. They just beat a really good Green Bay team, and when was that? When did they beat Green Bay?
That was this past week.
Was that Thursday? No.
Yeah.
Was it Thursday?
Yeah, I think it was
Thursday.
Thursday Night Football.
So they got a lot of rest.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, these Panthers have cost me money twice now. I had them in Seattle where they folded, and I had them first half and second half where they looked great again, up at half against Minnesota, and they fold. So I like the buy low on these Panthers, but they keep burning me. They keep laying down in games that they should be covering and winning. So this is actually my survivor pick is the Lions. I want to get them off. I'm going to go against the Panthers this weekend next for my survivor. They're just a team that keeps finding ways to lose games. I always tell people, even though I can't talk this week or this year because I'm down to one survivor team, they keep finding a way to lose games. Some of the best way to win survivor is not to pick winners, but just go against losers. And something about this Panthers team, they just keep finding ways to lose games.
Yeah, I actually love this spread for the Panthers here. I think the Lions are getting too much respect. Look, the Panthers are really not that bad of a team.
They're not.
It's when Bryce Young just puts them in bad situations. I mean, even if you look at them defensively, let's see here. Panthers third in the NFL at stopping the third down conversions. So and the Lions 17th offensively at getting third down conversions. So I do think the Panthers can get off the field enough in this game to cover the spread. I'm telling you, it literally comes down to Bryce Young to not lose this game for them. Like if he throws the interceptions and puts them in bad situations on defense, then I'll probably lose this bet. But I do think the Panthers, I'm hoping to get it at a +9 here. I do think that'll make my card this week for a unit. I just think that this is a solid underdog spot here with Carolina. And you also have to think that Bryce Young is going to slowly get better after each game of experience. So I do like this number here, and especially with the total only being 45. I mean, 9 points is a lot of points in an average scoring game here.
Yeah. And I actually think this under might be a bigger play for me. If Bryce controls the football, the Lions defense is solid. The Panthers defense isn't as bad as people think. This under's kind of jumping out at me. I don't have an official size of the play yet. I'll have to look into it, but this under is starting to look like a bigger play for me.
I like it. I think we're both on the same. Well, what did you like on the spread?
I said I had the Lions in Survivor, but Panthers burned me too many times.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, Titans travel to Indianapolis here. Division game, 1.5 point spread for the Titans are the underdog. Over under 42.5. 59% of the tickets on Tennessee, 41% on the Colts. Traylon Burks is questionable. Jonathan Taylor for the Colts resumed practice this week, and I think he's going to play. Ryan Kelly, their center, questionable with a concussion. Trends: the Colts are 4-10 and 4-10-1 off of a loss. Under is hit in 31 of the Colts' last 47 games. However, the Titans have covered in 5 straight games against Indianapolis. They've kind of had their number here. What do you like?
Oh, you got to buy Indy low here and sell the Titans high. Indy even came back against a good Rams team. They did lose, obviously, but they came back.
Yeah.
This Tennessee team has cost me more money in the last 2 years than any other team. I don't know when to bet them, and I always bet them wrong. There is no reason to me that Tennessee shouldn't be favored in this game. Their defense is really good against the run and should be able to contain the Colts' mobile quarterback. If the Titans want to win this division, Jacksonville just woke up. They can't lay down games like this. And still, the Titans are going to find a way to disappoint me.
Yeah. Look, I agree with you, but I was really shocked the Colts didn't lay down when they were down 20-0 last game at halftime. They ended up losing 29-23 against the Rams, who the Rams surprisingly have been pretty decent.
Yeah.
That's not a loss to hang your head about, especially the fact that they came back from 20-0. The Colts are 0-2 at home, and they've historically been a good home team. I think they get their first win at home here. I do think the Titans will finish with a better record by the year end here, but I think the Colts, this is actually a solid spot for them. It's almost like the book knows something here. Why are they minus 1.5 at home? The Titans plus money looks pretty attractive. But
is Taylor back too,
Jonathan Taylor resumed practice. Yeah. I don't even think he's on the injury report right now, so I think he's playing.
Okay.
But yeah, I like the Colts here in this spot. I think that they're going to get it done. I think it's going to be a tight, maybe a field goal win here. Oh man, I love this game. Ravens at Pittsburgh. Ravens -4. I think it's up to -4 now. Money line -173 on Bet Openly. Ooh. The total 38.5. 27% of the tickets are on the Ravens. That's surprising. 73% of the tickets on Pittsburgh. For the Ravens, Rashad Bateman, questionable. OBJ, questionable. Marcus Williams. The Ravens are banged up. If you look at their injury report, there's a ton more injuries than that. Steelers injuries, it's pretty much Kenny Pickett, who is questionable. Now, some trends in this game. The under is hit. 18 of the Ravens' last 24 coming off of a win. The Steelers are 25-11 straight up at home, coming off of a loss. That's a big, big number. The Ravens, 7-13 against the spread, coming off of a win. So when they win games, typically they don't perform that well against the spread the game after. What do you like here in this division matchup?
This is arguably the perfect buy low spot for Pitt. I don't know how they bounced back after the Niners whomping to beat Cleveland, but they did. They found a way in a high-scoring game that shouldn't have been. A lot of big plays and big turnovers. I almost see a replay. Of that game where Pitt just scrappily finds a way with defense to beat Baltimore. Oh man, this is the perfect, like, Ravens are, back on top, dominant win. Remember we were talking about last week, the Ravens were favored to win the division, but they were underdogs in that game. That was a perfect chance to get the Ravens cheap. And I feel like this is the same, but now for Pitt. This is a very tough, competitive AFC North.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Steelers' defense has not been the Steelers' defense this year. Just statistically, if you look at it, 23rd in scoring, 26th against the pass, 29th against the run. But here's the thing. You throw all that shit out when you're going Ravens-Steelers. When it's a Ravens-Steelers division game, nothing that's happened in the season matters or makes any sense. That's always how it is in these types of games. If the Ravens are one of the best teams in the NFL, they can go into Pittsburgh and get their ass kicked, and then vice versa. If the Steelers are really good and the Ravens have looked bad, the Ravens can come in and win this game. So, that's how it's been in this type of division game. I like the Steelers in this spot. I'm considering making them my money line dog of the week, honestly. I think they find a way to pull out a win here. Pickett is questionable, but Trubisky's very serviceable. I actually think they might even be better off with him back there if he comes in at all in this game. If Trubisky, I think Trubisky's going to play, or I think that Kenny Pickett's going to play, but if he gets banged up and comes out, I'm confident Mitchell Trubisky can come in and play this game and play well. So I just think that the Steelers have a legitimate chance to get a big win here. I think they've underperformed this season. I think this is a perfect get-right spot for them in a division game against the Ravens. Here's one thing I will say. As bad as the Steelers have been defensively, all those stats I just said, listen to this. They're 5th in the NFL in creating turnovers, 7th in sacks, and 3rd in quarterback hits. How do you beat the Ravens? You get after Lamar Jackson and you make him turn the ball over. I think that's what's going to happen in this game. I'm going to go on record right now and say Lamar Jackson has 2 turnovers in this game, 1 pick, 1 fumble, and the Steelers win this game by double digits. That's my bold prediction of the week. Give me the money line. Keep the points.
It's going to be a remake of the Cleveland game.
All right, moving on.
I like this next game.
Oh, man, I love this game. My Philadelphia Eagles traveling to L.A. here, 4.5-point favorite on the road. Money line, let's see. The Rams are plus 197. If you want to donate money, take the Rams on Bet Openly. The over-under 50.5. 57% of the tickets are on my Philadelphia Eagles, 43% on the Rams. Quez Watkins is questionable. Stafford is a little banged up with a hip bruise. We'll monitor that throughout the week. Eagles 16-3 coming off of a win. Rams 8-15. ATS coming off of a win. Now, the Eagles are 2nd in the NFL in rushing yards, and the Rams are 14th in defending it. Rams are 26th in the league in generating sacks and QB hits. That's not a good sign against Jalen Hurts and my Eagles. What do you think?
Technically, from an ATS perspective, you can buy the Eagles low and sell the Rams high here.
And that's what I'm doing.
I like the Rams to cover 4.5. I have bet on the Rams now in all weeks but one, or maybe all weeks. Either way, they're either 3-1 for me or 2. I forget. I think
Did
it's
you
3-1.
take them plus 7.5 against your Niners when they kicked that field goal to end the game and covered by half a point?
I think that was the one I didn't bet it. That would make sense. So 3-1 over him. and that was backdoor. But I think the Eagles win this game. The Eagles keep finding ways to win games, which is scaring me. I think the Rams are substantially better than everyone thinks still. That the Seattle offense is a lot better than people realize, especially in efficiencies. And the Rams went in there and won. That's a long time ago now, week 1. But now they went all the way into Indy and won again. And they've been in a lot of games. They've been in pretty much every game, even the game that they lost to the crappy Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry, Bengals fans. That's the only blemish on the Rams right now. It was a tie game, but still, you got to beat these Bengals. So I see a really close game here. I think a lot of back and forth scoring. Something's not right with the Eagles defense, and I can't put my thumb on what it's missing. But I do think the Eagles win. I don't bet like that, by the way, to thread the needle. I'm not taking Eagles money line and the Rams points, but I'm just saying I don't think the Rams win, so I won't be on money line. But I do like the points. I do like the plus 4.5.
Yeah. So I know I'm a biased Eagles fan here, but I actually think this is my favorite chalk play of the week here. Minus 4.5. I just think that this is a perfect spot for the Eagles. Like you said, you can actually buy low on them because they just did not look good at home against the Commanders. They arguably could have lost that game if the Commanders go for 2 at the end there. I just think that you look at it, the Eagles first in the NFL at generating quarterback hurries, right? They're going to be all around the pocket in Matthew Stafford's face this entire game. I actually really think that the Eagles could generate a lot of pressure and get this done here on the road. We're still waiting for that game where the Eagles put everything together that I know they're capable of. The run game, the pass game, the defense. I think that this could be the game here. So, again, maybe I'm biased. Maybe you stay away from my pick here. But I do think that this is the matchup that makes a lot of sense for the Eagles to finally look like the team that I know that they can be.
And I like the over.
I was gonna bring that up. So what's the number?
27.5. 27-24 gets the job done for both of us.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way both teams have been looking, it could be 30 apiece.
30, 30-24, 30-27.
Yeah. All right, moving on. This is an interesting one. The Bengals, who've looked terrible, travel into Arizona. Somehow the Bengals are a 3-point favorite here. The over-under at 44.5, 59% of the public still riding this Cincinnati team, 41% on the Cardinals. Bengals injuries, T. Higgins is questionable. The under is hitting 15 of the Bengals' last 19 games on the road, coming off a loss. Bengals 25-11 against the spread on the road, coming off a loss. And the Bengals are 15-31 off a loss in their last 41 games.
That was surprising.
47 games. So, yeah, they go on some losing skids, you know. Here's what I'll say about this game. This is actually crazy. For the Bengals to be -3 on this game is literally just the fact that it's Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, I had to look at this twice in a row. The Arizona Cardinals statistically are better in every single offensive category this year than the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Every single one. There's I think one category, right, out of like 15. I'm going to pull this up right now because I couldn't believe it.
While you're pulling that up, I gave out the Cardinals in DD in first quarter and first half just because they're dog money. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Why on earth are the Bengals favored in Arizona? We're all going to ride into bankruptcy that the Bengals are better and they're going to come back. They just got straight waxed. The Bengals.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the Bengals 31st in the NFL in scoring right now, 30th in first downs, 29th in passing yards, 31st in rushing yards, 30th in yards per play. I mean, the Cardinals, there's one category that the Cardinals are not as good as the Bengals offensively, and that's tackles for loss. That means the Cardinals are allowing less or more tackles for loss on offense than the Bengals. That's it.
I got it.
Quarterback hurries, hits, sacks, turnovers, yards per play, rushing yards, passing yards, first down, third down conversion, red zone efficiency, scoring, all go to the Cardinals have the better offense. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt. That's based off of 4 games and based off of different schedules. But I'll tell you what, there is value on this Cardinals money line here. I could see if the Bengals lose this game, their season is over, bro. That might sound like an overreaction, but they literally play next the Seahawks, 49ers, Bills back-to-back. 49ers and Bills back-to-back. They have the Ravens still. I mean, you can never count the Bengals out to make a late season run, but it's not looking good for this team. I know they did it last year, but I don't know, man. Part of me wants to take the Cardinals money line here.
As you should. I gave it out in two different ways, first quarter and first half in DD. It doesn't make sense. Like, just take the money, take the systems. They're at the very least, they're going to compete with each other back and forth. You got the plus money team at home. I don't get it. People get too married to the Cardinals are supposed to suck because they don't have their quarterback, and the Bengals are supposed to be awesome because they have a stud quarterback.
Yeah.
Their team looks like trash.
Yeah, and the Bengals star receiver, which one was it?
T. Higgins?
No, was it T. Higgins? Who was it after the game that like pretty much said was all pissed off? I don't know if he was pissed at Joe Burrow, but he was.
Chase?
I think it was Jamar Chase.
Wow.
I think he was like, oh, I'm open every play. Got to throw me the ball.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it was Jamar Chase.
A little drama, a little divided locker room.
A little drama. So we'll see.
Cardinals money line.
Around. Cardinals ML is a lead. I just don't know if I can do it.
No, it's not. You
know. Actually, I do agree with you. If you're going to play that Cardinals money line, I think first half makes a lot of sense.
Take it.
All right, Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Minnesota, minus 222 on the money line for Kansas City. 5.5 points is the spread, and the over-under is sitting at 53.5 here. 85% of the tickets are on the Chiefs, which usually I would say is not surprising, but the public got burnt last week on them, right? We didn't even talk about this much, but huge controversy with Patrick Mahomes sliding on the 2-yard line in between the first down marker and the end zone. Everyone and their mom lost money on that game, betting the Chiefs as chalk there.
Oh.
Everyone thinks the NFL is rigged. I'll tell you one thing. There's actually precedent where when teams did not make that exact play when they could have and could have gone up double digits, have given the other team the ball back with 2 minutes and gone to lose the game. So people can cry and say the NFL is rigged, but I can tell you one thing, that you guarantee win the game when you make that play. So it's the right play.
And forget, obviously you play to win, but he took all the pressure off his defense to come back out. You know how much easier it is to kneel a ball down,
right?
Throw your team and prevent coverage.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things to cry about. That play wasn't.
Yeah, people do it for clicks and to cry about their.
That wasn't one of them. That was a smart
definitely.
Football play. I forget running back did that, a while back where he ran all the way to the one and then slid.
I remember my boy Peyton Manning used to do that. He would, yeah.
I like this game. This is actually one of the games I'm more excited about.
Yeah.
This to me is actually equally, if not more, sketch than the 5.5 in Jacksonville and
even with it being on an
Buffalo.
Actual,
yeah. It's like Minnesota's almost winless, almost. Carolina's up on them at half, and they have looked no reason that they should not lose double digits to Kansas City. Kansas City is a great defense now, and their offense still is getting points, even though they don't look as good as they once did.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole world now is watching whoever the Chiefs are dating or whatever's going on there. So I love Minnesota money line here.
Oh, man.
I'm Minnesota money line the whole way. Plus 2 something at home. Maybe I'll get like 225, 250.
Is that a dog and under hit for me?
I mean, it is.
Is it going to go over 53.5?
No, the Chiefs are going to hold them, and the Minnesota's defense is going to look better. I'm going back to the Minnesota that played your Eagles, and they looked decent.
34-28.
If they didn't fumble on that 1 yard line, there's an argument that they had that game. At least they had the lead at first half. I remember because I had money line first half.
Mm-hmm.
So this is equally a sketch, 5.5. I'm all over Minnesota here. Keep the points. Don't need them. Kansas City can win by 20.
Even at Carolina last week, they won 21-13, but 7 points was a pick six. Right?
Oh, there you go.
Right?
Yeah, I honestly didn't even watch that game. I was so pissed
because
I had Carolina.
Sixes, so first on the first drive, one for each team. The first drive, and correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, chat. But Kirk Cousins on the opening drive on the Panthers 2 yard line throws a pick six, 98 yards the other way. And then at the end of the game, the Panthers throw a pick six.
Yeah.
Unless I'm tripping.
Second half, no.
But no, I mean the Vikings defense has been better than what it looks like. I think I can't get behind them here at 5.5. I do actually like the under in this game a little bit. But again, I'm taking the dog money line and under in every game all season. So this is one that I'm hoping maybe 24, maybe 26, 24.
Give us a dog
Vikings
bark
money
here.
line?
This is going to pay Matty. This is going to pay Matty.
Dog in the under.
Minnesota is going to throw up a W, going to piss off the world. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
All right. See what happens in that one. Moving on here. We got the Jets and the Broncos.
Oh,
my play of the week is coming in this game. So if
What?
you guys are watching, make sure you stay tuned.
You're a savage.
My play of the week is in this game. Jets are +2.5 on the road, +117 on the money line, only at betopenly.com. The over-under 43.5. 68% of the tickets are on the Jets already.
Oof.
The public wants to back the Jets now that they covered last week against Kansas City. No one – that was a sick cover. That +8, +9 at home against Kansas City.
Dude, I would argue that they should have covered that 10 ways. The refs gave them a bunch of first down. That was disgusting. But
32% of the tickets on Denver. Justin Simmons is questionable in this game. The Broncos are 35-18 at home, coming off a win. 6-14 against the spread, coming off a win. And the under in the Jets game is hit 13 of their last 20 games, coming off a loss. My play of the week is on this game, but let me ask you first what you like.
it's disgusting. But the bet in this game is Broncos -2.5. I don't want it to be. I don't. The Jets have competed with almost every team they've played. Zach Wilson looked decent. Their defense is solid. There's no reason this spread should be anything but a pick 'em, and it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Russ has been actually playing pretty well. If you look at some of his stats, he is like in a lot of top 10 categories as a quarterback, and their defense has been failing them. This Jets offense is the shortcoming. So I don't like this bet either way, but I'm just saying if you make what I like, what I lean is Denver -2.5, and they both throw up some points.
Yeah. So my favorite play of the week is the over of 43.5 in this game. I know that is ugly. It is super ugly. However, Zach Wilson is growing in confidence. We saw it last week. 2 touchdowns, 245 passing yards. He got sacked a couple times. Didn't throw a turnover. Didn't fumble.
I felt so bad when he fumbled.
He is growing in confidence. Aaron Rodgers is saying that he's being a good leader. And now guess what? After a decent game at home, he goes on the road and he's playing either the 31st or 32nd worst defense in pretty much every category. Scoring, red zone efficiency, first down, passing yards, rushing yards. The Jets are going to be able to run the ball. They're going to be able to get some play action going. And I think they haven't scored more than 20 points offensively all season. I think this is the first game that they're able to do it. And I think the Denver Broncos at home will be able to score points. And honestly, both these teams could actually generate turnovers in bad scenarios where it could lead to points for the other team. I just think 43.5 is too low here when you're looking at how bad this Denver Broncos defense has been in every statistical category. So I love this over. I'll probably play this as a 2-unit play here. I don't love taking overs for more than a unit, honestly, in the NFL, but this is one that I actually really like.
Let's get Matty that 27-23 victory.
I would love that. Boy, all right, let's see.
This is the only game that matters.
Zach likes the Jets money line. JD likes the Jets money line. All right, moving on. The Cowboys and the Niners. Gino's not going to like my prediction on this one.
That's okay. Matty, is this a preview of the NFC Championship?
No, that's a Cowboys logo, not an Eagles one, bro. The Cowboys +5.5 on the road here. That 3.5 is incorrect. That number is already up to 5.5.
Yes.
The money line probably. What do you think it is?
Probably 200. I can pull it up.
I don't know that it's that high, but it might be. Over under 45. 31% of the tickets on Dallas here. 69% of the tickets on San Fran. Cowboys do have some injuries. Micah Parsons, Tyron Smith, both questionable. Both have knee injuries. Both of them. I think Micah Parsons will play, but we'll have to see
the same. This is showing 3.5 still too. Weird.
Okay.
Either way.
So right now it is 3.5. We'll see. The trends right now, 49ers, 15-4 coming off a win. They're also 14-5 against the spread coming off a win. Now, this is a tough game. I want to go to GIno first. He's obviously a big 49ers fan. Take the jacket off for a second and give me your unbiased approach.
This is the best defense the Niners are facing this year. It'll be a very good test. I think our offense can handle their defense. We've beat them the last three times we faced them, I believe. One in season, 2 in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more curious how our secondary does, but I sell Dak. I've been selling Dak for 1 or 2 years. I think our offense is going to be just fine. We're going to put up the high 20s that we need, even though it seems like we always put up 30. High 20s is all we need. And our D line has been phenomenal against the run. Yeah. I think now we get a Dak. I think you see a Bosa breakout game. This is going to be an absolute war. I'm excited for it. In a game of chess, which this could be with our 2 defenses, I do think our offense moves the position battle in our favor and we win this game.
What do you think on the total? Because I think this is a game where everyone's going to be on the over. I think they see 45 with these 2 offenses. Yeah. I think the under makes a lot of sense in this game. Yeah,
it's tough for me, right? Because I'm like, well, the Niners are good for 30. 30 but no, I actually think the Niners put up less. I think we break that streak of 30. So I'm with Matty here. I think there's a lot of value here in this under.
4 games of 30 plus.
Yeah.
But it's also Steelers. I mean, Steelers, Giants, Cardinals, Rams.
They're not bad. We just keep scoring. Dude, CMC's a monster. Our offense has so many weapons. You can't run a zone against us. You can't even run a man against us.
Yeah.
This is a very important game for Brock too. But I'll try and not just cheerlead for the Niners the whole time. We have home field. I like that it's home field. I really like that we're going to be able to run the ball, and if not, swing out passes and run short. We have so much individual talent. The real question mark for me is what's Dak going to be able to do in the air against the Giants secondary? The secondary has been playing fantastic, but it is by far our weakness.
Well, all right, so here's the thing, and here's why I actually like this under. I actually think Dallas's best chance in this game is to just move the chains and keep the 49ers on the bench here, or keep the 49ers offense on the bench here. The Cowboys, first in the NFL right now at converting third downs. 49ers defense, 20th defending it. So as good as the 49ers defense has been, that's the one area they have struggled is defending the third down. So if the Cowboys can get positive yards on first and second down and have third and shorts in this game and move the chains, and then the 49ers are then good once you get deep into their territory at keeping them out of the end zone. So I think the Cowboys can run some clock in this game, not have huge explosive plays, but Dak just make the right plays, the right reads, move the chains. And I lean the under in this game. It'd be hard for me to go against the 49ers here because, 1, I take the Dallas Cowboys, and 2, I just hammered the 49ers for 3 units this past week. But honestly, if this number does hit 4 or 5, 5.5, I have to look at Dallas here just simply on the points. You know, I do think this could be like I actually think this could be like a 24-21 or like a 20, maybe even like a 21-20 type of game.
I like it. I'm diehard, guys. I'm a sicko. I'm going to be setting up my house like it's New Year's Eve for this game, inviting everyone over. And I just want a Niners win. I don't care if we win 2-0 or 100-98. That's all I give a shit about. But I will say, I think the biggest, I think where this game will be won is Dak in the air versus our secondary. Because I think our offense is going to get ours. That doesn't mean 30 points. It just means we're going to put up enough to win the game. And then if we cannot stop them and they come in with an aerial assault and their defense makes this punt a couple times, that's where it would get scary for me. So I do not think they'll run on us at all. Thank you for Housegrave. He's an absolute monster. And I'm really excited. If Dak throws a pick, if Dak misses open receivers once or twice, this could get out of hand quick.
Yeah.
I just look at what Dallas did. They beat an offensive-less New England. They lost in Arizona.
38-3.
Yeah. No, I know. They beat them, but they have no offense. Dallas, let's pull up Dallas' schedule. This is the game of the week, right? I know
this is Sunday Night Football. It's a great Sunday Night Football.
It's a great game of the week.
Yeah, it's a great Sunday Night Football.
When you look at Dallas' strength, Their strengths are against offense.
All right, so here's the thing.
Yeah, look who they play.
But it's not like they're winning by a touchdown, bro. 40-0 against the Giants.
Giants offense is garbage.
30-10 against the Jets team that just lost by
offense is garbage.
That just lost by how many points?
I'm just saying the Jets offense is garbage. Both these teams have offense garbage.
Cardinals 28-16. I predicted that one. So
decent offense, and they let up 28 to them.
Patriots 38-3. I mean, the three wins are all been by 20 or more.
I get it. They know how to beat shitty teams. Dallas is good at beating shitty teams. They dominate teams that have terrible bottom efficiency offenses. The Niners are the exact opposite. I think we are a nightmare for them. Niners, I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to be giving out a unit on 3 different bets. You're good with this, right? My unit's $1,000, so nothing too crazy. I'll give anyone that wants Dallas plus 200 up to 1,000 wins, 2,000. That I'll give away. I'll give the Niners -6. And then I'll also do Niners first half -4.5. It's probably only -3. Those will be my 3 gifts to bet openly users. I'll put up $1,000 bet on the opposite side of all of those. So you can get Dallas plus 200 for 1,000 wins, 2,000. You can get Dallas +6. You can get Dallas first half +4, 4.5 instead of 4. Sorry, instead of it's probably 3. So I'll give you 4.5. I don't give a shit. Niners are up by 7.5, and they're up by 13 in the game. They win this game with their secondary.
Yeah, it's tough for me to get behind the Cowboys as much as I somewhat lean that direction. I'd probably just take the under in this game. Truthfully, I think both defenses will play well. But if you want to get the Cowboys at plus 200, links in the description to make a bet openly account. You can go try to take GIno's money. Let's move on to Monday Night Football and the last game of the week. The Green Bay Packers traveling to the Raiders. Packers -1.5 in this game, -120 on the money line, over under at 44.5. 64% of the tickets are on Green Bay, 36% on the Raiders. I think these are 2 teams right now. The public is pretty low in both of them. Jair Alexander questionable, Jimmy G questionable with the concussion. Packers coming off that 34-20 loss at home to the Lions. I can't believe I took them in that game. That was very painful to watch. Raiders coming off that division road loss to the Chargers by 7. Are the Packers getting a little bit too much love here as a road favorite, though? What do you think?
Oh, man. Matty and I talk a lot offline. We're degenerates that we don't just do things like to make shows and get clicks, but we actually give a shit because we bet every day of our lives. We're sick. And I wonder, is the home dog in primetime dead because of people like you? Like honestly, Matty gets so many damn views and can get so many people sharp plays that he does countless hours of work, and you watch his 3-minute video and now you have all his picks. I would be all over the Raiders 7 ways from Sunday the last decade. But I have watched home dogs in primetime bleed money for a year and a half now.
Yeah, it's just different day and age.
It's just a different day and age where I'm starting to think the books actually put out real lines in a lot of scenarios. Yeah. These are 2 diehard fan bases. And it's hard for me, guys. Like, this is a chance where I used to blindly do this. I used to tell all my loser friends that would text me, home dog primetime, they'd say, no, the favorite's going to win tonight. And they'd lose, 40, they'd win 40% and lose 60. But now you got to put a lot of thought into primetime games because you can't blindly use macro systems. And, oh, man, this Packers team, right? Mm-hmm. They had a chance to beat Atlanta, and they lost that game. They look horrendous on offense against Detroit. But Detroit's really good on defense.
They put up 38 in week 1 against the Bears.
Right? And the Bears have
barely beat the Saints as 18-17. I really struggle with this game. I will say I think Josh McDaniels is on the hot seat here. I think if they lose this game, I don't know how much this team can really ride behind him the rest of the season. Jordan Love, I don't know what to do with Jordan Love.
Right?
This is honestly this game I struggle with the most out of the entire week 5 game slate. Over under 44.5. I mean, let's look at the Raiders here. What have they really done offensively? Scored 10 points against the Bills. Only scored 17 against the Broncos. Scored 18 against the Steelers. Scored 17 against the Chargers. They haven't put up more than 18 points all year.
Yeah.
Packers, I mean, how can you not look at this game and take that under in primetime?
No, I
think
agree.
that's the only play that logically makes sense to me.
I agree with Matty 100%. The under looks the best here. The Raiders are it's going to be a field goal. Great comment. This is going to be a field goal extravaganza. And I guess it's square as hell. But I guess I lean Green Bay, but not by much. Like, I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to score much on Green Bay. But after what I watched, I don't think Green Bay is going to be able to score. Yeah, let's get nasty. What is it, like 20-1? No touchdowns. 4-3 touchdowns. 12-9 final.
Yeah. This is a good question. Devontae Adams. I'm trying to look that up right now.
It's a good.
I don't know. I didn't see.
Like, is he good to play or is he a good player?
No, is he good to play? Yeah, that shoulder
injury
injury
wise.
last week against the Chargers. But
I don't want to hate on Devontae, but
he's losing his patience.
That's what I was gonna say. Is he's losing his patience. I was wrong week 1, guys. I gave out Denver. I remember almost all my plays because I'm a sicko and I lose sleep over them. But what I said and why I bet it was right, even though I was wrong. I said Jimmy doesn't have a defense in the Raiders that he had in the Niners and a run game to carry him. And he'll be exposed and they won't put up a lot of points. And we're seeing it. Matty just showed me they haven't put up more than 18 and everything's been 10-17. This Green Bay defense is a good buy low. I sold them last week. I'm buying back this Green Bay defense. I would say my favorite play in this is the Raiders team total under.
You know what the number is?
It's probably, you run the math. It looks like 20.
Yeah.
20.5.
21.5 probably.
That'd be the most they've scored all year against this Green Bay offense.
Yeah, it's probably 20. It's 23-21 based off the numbers. So
exactly.
21.5 probably.
Yeah.
I like Green Bay in the under if I had to pick both sides, but I'd probably just play the under here. Let's go ahead and move on. So this is our recap of last week. Probably should put this in earlier in the show, but my dog of the week on the Commanders hit. A buy low spot hit on the Cowboys, and I sold the Patriots.
And that red X
over should not be here.
Poor Matty.
I did not take this over because I said only if Andy Dalton plays, I would take the over, but Bryce Young played, so I didn't touch that. GIno, Survivor has been brutal the last 2 years. Dog of the week. Rams, buy low, good play there. Eagles, good sell spot. I bet against my own team last week, so I had to do that as well. And then the under. Let's get and move on to our recap of this show right here.
Let's do it.
GIno has the Lions as his Survivor play. For the dog of the week, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers money line against the Ravens. Keep the 4 points. I think they figure out a way to win at home. GIno is on his Saints. He loves taking the Saints. Buy low spot of the week. I like the Panthers on the road +9. I think I'll be able to get them at +9 there. A lot of buy low spots for GIno. Falcons, Chiefs, Panthers. He's on the Panthers with me. Colts, Steelers. Probably not all official plays, but
those are just all buy lows and those are all the sell highs.
And I'm selling the Commanders this week. I'm selling them hard. I just think that the Commanders are an outlier. Like when they play the Eagles, they always look good against Philly every single year in a division game. And now they're at home against Chicago, given almost a touchdown. And the Commanders are not a good team to be given another NFL team, even if it is the Bears, almost 7 points. So I'm selling the Commanders as my sell high spot, and I like the Bears in that spot. GIno is on the Texans, Vikings, Lions, Titans, and Ravens. He's selling all those.
Those are all covered last week. So yeah, when I look at that, guys, if I'll give you like an official play, and this is my bad, it's not Brad's bad. I didn't know it was for this slide. I was covering every play that covered last week, a team that covered versus a team that didn't cover. So that's what the buy low sell high is to me, but I'll adjust for this. So teams I would actually put your money on. I like Atlanta in this position, returning home. They didn't cover, and they're playing home against the Texans. That's one that I do like. And then I would say another one. Yeah, we'll leave it right there. I'll give you guys Atlanta for my buy low, and then a team that I am selling high, and I'll agree with Matty on this one a little bit.
Ravens.
Selling the Ravens a little bit high in addition to the Texans.
I like it. All right.
And then I'm giving the Rams +4.5. I love this play. I love this play in a grind. I think Philly wins it in a 3-point, and it scares me because we remain the 2 undefeated teams, and they're winning tougher battles, and we're just cruising along.
I like it. All right, let's get and dive into some daily fantasy sports. Bring our guy Trevor on. Make sure you put in the comments or in the chat, guys. If you guys have any questions on your lineups, it could be fantasy football related, daily fantasy sports, parlays, whatever you want. Drop those questions in the chat. What's good, Trev?
What's up, boys? How we living?
Doing good, man. What you like for this week for week 5?
I'd like to not watch the Giants play. That's what I would like.
Again.
That was brutal. So I'm gonna finish with Thursday night's game because I got a really good play for there. So spots I want to attack this week. Atlanta gets Houston at home, and Atlanta's gonna run the ball down Houston's throat. Bijan's gonna go off. Houston has a terrible run defense. CJ's played out of his mind, and they've been fun to watch. But Atlanta is just going to grind them into the ground. They're going to control the ball. We don't have lines there yet, but that's a spot I'm probably going to try to attack, is going after them. Another run spot I'm going to attack is the Lions get the Panthers. Another run spot, right? We saw what Monty just did. They're going to come back and do it again. Four of the worst run defenses in the NFL are the Panthers, the Texans, the Bears, and the Broncos. And they get two teams that love to run the ball this week. I think that's a really good spot for them. The Dolphins might score 70. I don't know if they can set their props high enough against that Giants team we just watched on Monday night. I mean, that was embarrassing. I'm really so the big spots for me this week are Eagles Rams. I love AJ this week. I think AJ's going to cook. They're going to target him. They're going to use him. He gets a really good matchup. If his line is 75 yards and below, I think it's going to be one of the best lines to attack. I'm going to stay away from the Rams side because I don't know if Cooper's going to be back. And if he is, I want to see how do they use Cooper and Puka together. I think that's going to be a really unique spot.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that too. I've actually had people DM me and ask if they would still keep with Cooper coming back, if they would still keep either guy, right? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do it, right? Like, what's McVay's scheme in? I think he uses both of them, but it's going to be a tough spot to bet, right? And it's a tough spot to play. But I really like I said, but I like AJ on the other side. I like his reception. Again, I want to see his receptions at 5.5, maybe 6.5. If it's that or below, I'm all over it. I really like AJ's matchup this week against them. We've seen what teams have been able to throw on the Rams against. I think that's a great spot. The Chiefs Vikings, right? Again, I'm going to continue to kind of stay away from the Chiefs besides Mahomes. There's no one. We don't know who they're going to roll in that week. But let's get to the game of the week everybody cares about. Our Niners get the Cowboys. The big loss for the Cowboys here is Diggs. I think Ayuk is gonna Ayuk is gonna show up here. So this is a spot I'm gonna be attacking Ayuk. Ultimately, I think CMC is a difference maker in the game, but without Diggs, I think this is just a smash spot for Ayuk. I think he's gonna get 7-8 receptions. We've seen how efficient Brock has been. I think he's just the spot to attack here in that game. So I'm really interested to see where that goes. And Monday night could be kind of interesting with the Packers and Raiders if Jimmy's playing. Interesting in terms of there might be some offense there. So, but I don't want anything to do with the Bengals or Cards. I'm going to avoid the Saints and the Patriots. From a DFS standpoint, those aren't games I'm trying to attack. And then Thursday, we got an interesting spot that I'm really excited about. As we just talked about, is the Bears have one of the worst run Ds in the league. Brian Robinson, over 63.5 yards. Bet it today. I would go as high as 2 units on it. It's going to close over 70. That line is mispriced. It has no business.
Over how many yards?
Yeah. That is right now at 63.5. That line has no business being at that line. It's insane. So you get a guy that has 182 yards after contact so far this season. He has 73% of the team's rushes. That's 4th best in the NFL. That is legit bell cow running back attempts. And I even like him on the sneaky spot for take him in for maybe 2 TDs versus anytime TD. His one TD is already minus 115. They're going to be able to just Bieniemy is going to be able to do what he wants against this Bears defense. And this line is just mispriced. He's going to model in the 80s, and I think he could easily hit 100 yards in this game versus that Bears D line. If you've watched them at all, I mean, they're really bad. This is a smash spot for Brian Robinson. And the other thing that I like that he's really done well is 7% of his runs this season have been for over 15 yards. That's a big number in the NFL. So over
Very
5% big. Is a studly number. So 7% of Robinson's attempts this year, he's broken for 15 yards or more. If he gets by, he's gone as big as he is. So Thursday night, I think that's a great spot.
So, I was going to say, if I build a DFS lay in that game right now, I take Brian Robinson over 63.5. What would you correlate or pair that with in the same game?
All right, so I knew Matty was going to ask for this. I kind of teed it up for that. So let's go to the other side. I actually like the under for Cole Kmet receptions, and here's why.
3.
So they moved it down to 3. So then I take it as yards. It should be 3.5. So
31.5.
Yeah, I like the under. Here's why. Washington is the best defense in the league versus tight end by a large margin. Like, it's not a little bit when you dig into the stats there. Also, I believe their D-line is going to get after him. I mean, it's not going to be like we saw last night, but they're going to be on fields and they're going to roll him out. He's not targeting Kmet like he should be. And then you give me the best defense, versus tight end in the league. I like the under there for Kmet.
I just locked it in.
There we go. Yeah, that's I knew you were going to tee me up for that one. Yeah, Aaron, receptions over on AJ. Yeah, we should start seeing lines tomorrow, early Thursday. But I think receptions over for AJ's if it's 5.5, it's a multi-unit bet. I think it's 6.5. 7.5, I got to see what the juice is, but 6.5, 5.5, I'm definitely hitting that over for him.
I like it, bro. All right, well, I just locked it in.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's I'm 3-1 on Thursday night on those so far this year. So let's go make it 4-1.
Do we have any wild CMC for 2 touchdown moonshots?
Yeah, so I'm as crazy as it sounds. I want to see if he goes 3. If they'll give us,
you guys are a bunch of homers right now.
100%. Listen, he is the difference maker in this game. So, and hold on, I'm in Dallas right now. I wish the game was here, but I'm gonna go out suited and booted. But I think he's the difference maker. The other one that said Ayuk 2 touchdowns. Also, Ayuk's matchup is great here. We see how much Brock's attacking him. I think he's going to have a really good spot. The other one, like I said, the other game this week, I just want to see where the Lions land. Where's Miami at? Miami is going to murder this team. I don't know that they could set the lines high enough. Just like, we hit Achane for over 100 last week. It was like plus 450. They're going to kill this team. So I'm interested to see where they set the lines. We'll definitely be looking at some of those.
All right.
So, and Bengals unders till they show me they can actually play this season. I actually like the Cards in this spot. I think the Cards can beat them. Cards
money line first half. I think Gino and I both like that. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't imagine why they're. At some point, you got to let some things go.
You got to sit. You have to sit Burrow and get him better. Like you have to set him down.
A win versus the Rams, and then they had a chance to compete, and they
got to set him down and let him get better. Like I said, there's for DFS. It'll be interesting. The other one that'll be sneaky is the Titans' pass D is trash. They can stop the run as good as the Niners, but their pass D is terrible. Anthony Richardson could have a big game this week versus them, especially through the air.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm on the Colts in that game too. I lean the Colts, but I think
watch Josh Downs lines in that game. If we get Josh Downs 40 yards and under, we're going to hit him for his overs.
I like that.
Yep.
All right, bro. We'll see you back here next
We
week.
appreciate you, T-Rev.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, boys.
Niners by 20.
Yeah. All day.
All right, everyone. That concludes the show. If you're still here watching, make sure to like and subscribe, support the channel. We'll see you guys back next week for NFL Week 6.
Later, mighty gents.
Warm summer's evening on a train bound for nowhere. I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness till boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces and knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces for a taste of your whiskey. I'll give you some advice. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done." Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. In his final words, I found an ace that I could keep. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done.